Making beds. If you are working on a team, making up the beds should be the first thing you do when you enter a home to start cleaning it, which is our first rule of making beds. Rule number 1. Use 2 people when making up or changing beds. It simply goes much faster and takes less steps with 2 people. Clean linens have been left out in this home, so if your company changes the sheets on the beds, the linens need to be changed. When changing linens is necessary, this is a time to pay very close attention to how the bed was made before you stripped it, which is rule number 2. Look at the bed and remember how it is made before you take it apart. This rule is the most important rule of bed linen changing. Once you have taken the bed apart, it is too late to remember that you forgot to look at where all of the pillows were originally located. When you are finished remaking the bed, it needs to look exactly as you found it when you entered the room, and stripping without looking will make that impossible. Rule number 3. Stretch all sheets firmly across the mattress and mattress corners. It is very important that the fitted sheets are stretched around the corners and bottom of the bed. We do not want the sheets to pull out of place when the client enters their bed at night. This is a common complaint from clients. Be sure to pull the bottom fitted sheet under the mattress. Do not let it sit halfway down the mattress corner. Next, take out the top sheet. Begin at the top of the bed and lay the top sheet flat at the very top of the bed. Smooth and stretch the sheet until it gets to the bottom of the bed. Put the blankets back on the bed. The blankets should be placed at the stitching line at the bottom of the top trim, which will allow enough excess sheet to fold back over the blanket tops. Smooth the blankets to the end and tuck the corners under the mattress. If the sheet is long enough, we use square corners, which make for tighter sheets on the bed. This top sheet is barely long enough to reach under the mattress, so square corners are difficult. Do the best job you can to make sure the sheets are securely tucked under the mattress on the corners, sides, and at the foot of the bed. Floors. Large vacuuming. Start large vacuuming in the furthest room in the home and unwind the vacuum cleaner cord, which is rule number 1. Start large vacuuming in the room furthest from the exit door and plug in your cord as close to the exit door as it will reach. Walk the cord towards the exiting door as far as it will reach and look for an available outlet. If all available electrical sockets are already in use, you will need to remove a plug from a socket in order to plug in the vacuum cleaner. Think about what you are unplugging before you unplug it. Do not just take the first socket you come to and unplug something. Do not unplug computers, phones, TVs, clocks, or equipment that has timing or thinking abilities. Table and floor lamps are always a safe thing to unplug. If possible, do not remove any child safety plugs or air freshener plugs. If you have to remove them, be sure to replace all child safety plugs and be sure to replace the air freshener plugs in the correct direction so that the oil does not drop out. Once you have plugged in the cord, return to the bedroom and move the chair to vacuum below it. When vacuuming, you need to move any furniture that can be moved with one hand. Vacuum using long strokes and away from yourself. Take the whisk broom from your back pocket and clean the carpeting close to the legs on the table that you cannot get near with a vacuum cleaner. Be sure to go slow enough to pick up the dirt and leave vacuum marks on the floor. Always vacuum with your back to the door so you do not walk on the vacuum marks, which will keep the carpeting looking fresh and newly vacuumed. When you have finished vacuuming the bedroom, unplug your cord and replug anything you unplugged. Floors, mini vacuuming. When using the small mini vacuum cleaner, begin in the furthest non-carpeted room in the home and unwind the vacuum cleaner cord. Rule number 1. Start mini vacuuming in the room furthest from the exit door and plug in your cord. Like the large vacuum plug, look for an empty outlet. Then go back to your vacuum cleaner. Before you begin vacuuming the tile floors in the living room, you must first turn up the sides and ends on large rugs so you can vacuum below the edges. This is an area where a large amount of dirt, dust, debris, and dog hair slides directly below the edges. Again, we vacuum with our back to the door so we are not walking over our cleaned areas. Be sure not to vacuum too fast. The vacuum can only suck up at one speed, and going too fast could leave a lot of dirt and debris behind, which becomes an overwhelming challenge for the mopper. Remember, if you are working on a team, the quality and rate of your cleaning dramatically affects your team partners. Slightly tipping the floor piece while vacuuming will allow large items to be vacuumed up. If you leave the floor piece flat on the floor at all times, you will be pushing dirt and dust around, but not vacuuming it up. You can remove the floor attachment and use only the hose to get in difficult corners or hard-to-reach areas, or under the lips of furniture or cabinets. This is extremely helpful in sucking up large spider webs or bugs. Be sure to change your vacuum cleaner bag, a minimum of once a day, or more often if your office requires more frequent changes. Mopping floors. We recommend you use a mop called a schmop and covers called swipes. The swipes have been prepared with the water and floor cleaner combination and are in the mop bucket. Take one swipe from the bucket and wring out some of the water. How wet you leave your swipe will depend on what type of floor you are cleaning. If it is a wood floor, you will want to remove the majority of the water from the swipe so the water does not damage the wood. If it is a tile floor, like the ones we are preparing to mop, you will want to leave your swipe relatively wet because excessive water cannot damage the floors, and they will be easier to clean with more water. Begin in the corner and mop with your back to the door. Like our cleaning rags, the swipes are made out of microfiber and work fabulous. Notice that the schmop is flat and rotates. This makes it easy for you to get under small tables, into small areas, and under low pieces of furniture. It also gets close to the baseboards and into the corners. Any furniture, such as couches and beds, that sit on a floor that is not carpeted must be vacuumed and mopped below. Any throw rugs that have been turned over on the edges and ends remain turned over until the mopper has cleaned the floors below them and they have thoroughly dried. Be sure to apply enough pressure to the mop so that you remove any stubborn spots from the floor. If you run into a particularly difficult area, be sure to remember to switch to a heavier cleaning tool, such as your yellow scrubby. If you can remove a spot with your fingernail, then you must remove it from the client's floor. If your swipe is reversible, when it gets dirty, you simply take it off and turn it around. The other side is still clean. When that side gets dirty, grab a new one and throw the dirty one to the side. If it is not reversible, get a new swipe each time one gets dirty. Be sure to change mop covers often. As soon as they get dirty, they need to be changed, or you will simply be moving the dirt from one area of the floor to another, almost cleaning with mud. Wrapping up. When you have finished cleaning the entire home, take all of your cleaning buckets and supplies out of the home and set them next to the front door. Then follow the final rule of cleaning and one of the most important. Final rule. Take a final walk through the home, inspecting each room that you cleaned in the home. Enter each room that you cleaned and look around to be sure that all of the items have been placed back where you found them. Look for rags or cleaning supplies that might have been left in each room. It does not matter how lovely a bathroom is cleaned if the first thing they see is one of your dirty cleaning rags left behind. Continue to look for items out of place and turn off any lights that you turned on. Edges and corners of scatter rugs need to be flattened and fringe straightened. The last 5 minutes you spend in a home can be the most important 5 minutes of your entire visit. Review the notes on the client. Do you need to let the dogs back in? An afternoon in the hot sun for the client's beloved little doggie could mean more to them than a clean home. Are you supposed to set the alarm before you leave? How are you supposed to leave the door? Do you lock it and hide the key? Take the key back to your office? Or leave the door open? Doing any one of these wrong could be a total disaster. What if you lock the door and their child returns for the afternoon without a key? Do you lock the gate? All of this attention to detail has nothing to do with cleaning the home, but can cost you a client faster than a poor cleaning. Consistently following each one of these processes and procedures covered in these training modules will ensure that each of your clients are thoroughly satisfied and delighted with the quality of your cleaning.